information you're hearing anything, what can you share with our viewers?
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing more. I think he's probably still in surgery. So until we hear anything about how the surgery went or anything, I don't have anything more that is currently being publicly reported. Yeah, it's obviously a tough situation not knowing anything. I think when you see those images, clearly you want more information. You want to believe that it really is leg injuries, that's the extent of the injury from that car. And we're all hoping that's the case. And as of right now, I think it's important to note there is no indication that there's anything else. Until we hear that there's a lot of speculation going around. But until we hear from Woods or Woods' camp post surgery, it's just too early to speculate.
We see people there in the area where that vehicle went down into that ditch over there off the road. It looks like they're collecting evidence. There's going to be a news conference coming up. We're told in about 15 minutes from the sheriff, going to brief us on what's going on. And I assume at some point the doctors will emerge from the hospital there and give us an update as well. We're all hoping for the best. Tiger Woods is an amazing, not only athlete, amazing person that we've watched for so many years. And you've watched him, Danny, so closely over the past, year and a half, 2 years, as you've covered him full time for Golf Digest. And you tell us he was accessible, he was nice, he was kind, he treated you with respect. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hearing some stories about Tiger over the years, there's definitely a little bit apprehensive going into this. What is he going to treat me like? What's the relationship going to be like? But it's worth sharing. He's been nothing but very kind and very generous with his time with me. And, I think that's kind of consistent with what I've heard about Tiger just over the years. He's softened. I think that's clear. And he would admit that, in his 20s, he was this ruthless competitor who the only thing that mattered was not just beating the other golfers, but crushing them and crushing their spirit. He seemed to take joy in that. If you look at the way that he interacts with other professionals now, guys like Justin Thomas, guys like Jon Rahm, he's friends with them. He knows his place in the game as this sort of elder statesman now. He's a legend, and he's one of the guys, and that never used to be the case. And I think that we've seen, and it's been so nice to see in his last public appearance, playing alongside his son. That was kind of the culmination of all of this. I mean, the thought of him doing that, playing in a hit and giggle with his son 10 years ago, was so not even in the realm of possibility, but it just shows how the journey that he's taken personally and professionally. So today's a really tough day because it really seemed like he was in a fantastic place in his life.
Were you working under the assumption, Danny, that he was going to make a comeback following his back surgery in December? We would see him out on the golf course again playing?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at where he was in 2017 after the spinal fusion surgery, where he barely couldn't walk. All the reports came from that Augusta National Champions dinner that he, couldn't speak, couldn't move. And then if he comes back from that, there's no reason to believe that he wasn't going to come back from this, which was actually, a pretty routine procedure. It was like the fourth time that he had it. It was not really a structural thing so much as kind of cleaning up that there was some issue related to the spinal fusion, but it was not expected to be, a super extensive recovery. And I think he was scheduled to get another scan later this month, and he was supposed to be cleared to return to practice. And once that happens, it's only a matter of weeks or months until he comes back. So I really do believe he was targeting the Masters. As we've talked about, on the show so far, that's the tournament for him. That's the one he knows he's got the best chance to win. So I really think he wanted to return for that one. I think he had his eyes on that, and then something like this happens, which obviously just takes all those plans and throws them into outer space.
Andy Scholes is still with us, our CNN Sports correspondent. Were you working on that assumption as well, Andy, that he was going to make yet another comeback?
Well, Wolf, we know that Tiger Woods, one thing about him, he always wants to compete in the Masters. It's his favorite tournament. It's the one he has the best shot of winning every year just because it's always there, and he knows the course so well. And, if there's one tournament he's going to try to play every single time, we know it's the Masters. And we heard him, Jim Nantz kind of pressed him about that on Sunday when he was hosting the Genesis tournament. Are you going to be able to play? And, when I heard Tiger respond to him, he said, God, I hope so. And it really didn't sound that convincing, Wolf. We kind of just thought it was like a sure thing. When Tiger had his fifth back surgery, well, he's having it now so that he can get in shape and come back and be ready for the Masters once again. But he didn't sound very convincing. He hasn't competed so far in 2021. He was at the Genesis tournament as the host. And then he was basically doing some practice sessions with Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer, and David Spade, the actor. for a shoot. That's what he's been doing the last few days. But he wasn't playing golf. He was just kind of giving them pointers and maybe doing some putting. But what the hope was, he was going to be able to compete in the 2021 Masters. And now the hope is he's just okay.
Let's just hope he's okay. Very quickly, Danny, tell us about the Genesis tournament. You're out there. What is it exactly? I think we lost.
TGR Venture has been hosting since 2017. Played at Riviera Country Club, which actually, it's a nice piece of symmetry. It's where Tiger played his first ever PGA Tour event as a 16-year-old in 1992. So he comes back full circle. He's played in it the last couple of years. This year, obviously, was not playing as he continued to recover from back surgery. But he was out there a little bit on Saturday and then more extensively on Sunday to watch the action. It ended up being won by Max Homa. And Tiger was on the putting green, smiling, handing him the trophy. He was definitely a part of the ceremonies that day. So it's Tiger's event. They have kind of three players have events on the PGA Tour, and it's very symbolic of their stature in the game. You've got Jack Nicklaus with the Memorial Tournament. You've got Arnold Palmer with the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, and now Tiger Woods with the Genesis Invitational. So it was a celebration. It's a tournament that benefits his foundation, the TGR Foundation, which I can say from firsthand is something that he takes great pride in. So it was really a celebratory week, despite Tiger not playing. And then this happens on Tuesday.
Yeah, we can see local authorities collecting parts from that vehicle and putting it on one of the trucks over there. You can see on the left part of the street over there. You can see the car, the vehicle that Tiger Woods was driving, which went off the side of the road and crashed. We're going to stay on top of this. Much more coming up. We got a news conference right at the top of the hour. We'll get back to that, but right now, quickly, I want to report on some major dramatic